This is the Teradek stage at the Vitech booth at IBC. Still haven't managed to say that right. Anyway, and I'm joined by our next guest, who are in fact our sponsors, Teradek. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. I have to say that. I won't dwell on the matter, but thank you very much, and thank you for making this all happen. You have a very cool new product for news types this year. What is it?
Okay, so this is the Teradek Beam. Beam was a H.264 broadcast contribution encoder, and this thing can transmit up to 2,500 feet, which is about 800 meters or so, at only 2 frames latency. It supports up to 1080p 60. It has bidirectional IFB, which is very important for most news broadcasters, and its starting price is $6,000, which makes it an extremely affordable and very capable encoder for this space.
So what you're aiming at doing is replacing a lot of those conventional sort of infield transmitters. They're more expensive ones. I shouldn't probably name names of other brands, but there are more expensive solutions that will get you that range.
Right.
This is much less.
Yeah, we're kind of moving away from the traditional RF transmitters that you would find, very large, very long antennas on the top.
We went Can I just try that?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to this, right?
No. Well, there's a lot of technology inside, but it's very lightweight. Slips right onto the back of a camera very seamlessly. It comes in AB mount or V mount, you know, for any sort of professional camera.
So you've got your AB.
Yep.
Plate here, and then SDI.
That's right.
And then, so this you don't need to Ethernet into this at all. Right? You can actually be, it is SDI in, SDI out on each end.
Sure. So this thing, you kind of have a choice. You can go point to point. So for example, we found that a lot of our beta testers preferred to use this on a camera and then have it beam back to the OB van, which would then be fed into an ASI link and then sent back over to the station. This can also be used much like our Cube encoder. You plug it in via the LAN here. You can stream up to 50 megabits per second all the way back to your station, where the decoder can receive it and then of course be sent anywhere else you need it to go.
Okay, and 2 frame latency, that's pretty good. The IFB, is that how much latency does that?
I believe the IFB is basically, you won't even be able to tell.
You won't notice it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and you say that range is, well, you say 2,000 feet. Is that in open space, or I mean, what are you going to get indoors? What are you going to get in an environment like this? If
you know, you could actually get 3,000 feet in ideal conditions. In most use cases, you can expect 2,500 feet. In an environment like IBC or NAB, it's going to be a little crazy. We've been able to achieve over 1,000 feet, approaching 2,000 feet. It really depends on where you're at within this space. This is a very robust transmission, so it's going to hold up when you're going through booths like this or a lot of different people. It's not something that you wipe your hand right in front of the antenna and everything goes down. That won't happen with something like this.
And how are you actually dealing with frequencies? What frequency ranges are actually used? And is a particularly specific frequency range that's going to?
Well, it's operating over the 5 gigahertz band, which is
which is whatever you think. You know,
right. So 5.15 to 5.8. The FCC just recently opened up what they call outdoor mode from 5.15 to 5.25, so we can now broadcast at higher output powers in that little area. That's going to make this a lot more robust. Should you be able to choose to operate over those channels, that may not be available worldwide, but again.
Well, so the next question I was going to ask you is, you know, where is this currently licensed? Where can you use it? You know, generally, are there countries that you know of that you can't use this in?
No, so this device can be used worldwide. Specific operating output powers and frequencies are going to be subject to their respective licensing agencies in each country or region. So the United States, of course, anything that, say, the Bolt 2000 can use, this can use as well, but this will differ, of course, in Europe and Asia, just like any of the other transmitters have have to abide by.
Okay, and you don't just have to use this for, you know, live OB kind of stuff. I mean, there are other applications. You could use this on set if you were doing a movie or something you wanted to.
Sure, yeah. You know, we built this for broadcasters after, you know, listening to what they had to say about our other products. Cube is its closest, you know, I would say neighbor within our product line. Except the problem with Cube is that it's very small, doesn't sit on the back of a camera, it doesn't have the high bit rates that many broadcasters are looking for, and it doesn't have the built-in range that this has. Cube has only got about a 300-foot range unless you connect it to an access point. Of course, this can be used in cinema. We've had some people express interest in using it in car-to-car situations or anything that has a lot of mobility.
Significant range, yeah.
Right.
And then in terms of the actual picture quality that you would get off this, is it the same as you're going to be getting on the Bolt? Or
it's not the same. Bolt is an uncompressed video feed. Bolt is about as good as it gets for a wireless transmitter. This is incredibly close to that, especially when you get into the higher bit rates, 30 plus. You're going to be hard pressed to want more. In cinema, it might be a little bit different. They tend to use transmitters differently than broadcasters do, but the video quality on this is really stunning, especially when you're pushing 40 megabits or so.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, in all honesty, an awful lot of satellite uplinks and things, you know, places where this would be fed into are still going SD, to be honest. So.
Very true, very true. And you know, the beauty about this is it can be tailored to that. So if you want to scale it all the way down to 5 or 10 megabits, fine. If you need to max it out, that's also available too.
Okay. One other last question: is that it's capable of interlaced and progressive when the signal goes?
Yes, that's correct.
It doesn't have to go to progressive signal. It can be interlaced.
That's right.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much. Very exciting. Hopefully we'll get to play with one, test it out.
Of course.
And again, once again, thank you very much for being our sponsors at this show.
I'm glad you're here with us.
And we'll be back right after a very short break to talk about where we're heading in this wonderful world of internet video and news. Is there a future for anybody like me, other news shooters? We'll find out in about 2 minutes' time.